All right. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Isbc Illuminati Radio Bible study class every evening at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, Illuminati Radio, with your host, Pastor Michael Smith, and co-host, Sister Smith. If you are new to this page, you just stumbled across this page, if this is your first time here, stay a while. All you have to do is simply hit that follow button and turn on your notification bells. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. And let's go ahead and pray in. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. All right, everybody mute your phones and let's go ahead and get started. This evening, we are going to understand the definition of the N-word. Yes, the N-word. A lot of black folks and black men and women get upset when somebody of another nation calls them the N-word. Oh, they get offended. Oh, the N-word this. He called me the N-word. He's being the R-word. We have to understand. See, the Bible says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. If you only knew about these words that these other nations call you, and you react accordingly, guess what? The joke will be on them. But when you react to these words, being called these words in a rational way, then you just prove to your oppressor. You prove to your enemy that you are what they call you. So that's what we're getting into. And this was this article that came out. A Raleigh, North Carolina radio show host, black female, went down to Atlanta, Georgia, to a cheese, I think it was a cheesesteak restaurant, and she said that she got a receipt, and on the receipt somebody wrote darky. Well, you should be happy that somebody is calling you darky. Why? Because it is a blessing to be a darky. You know how they say, whatever happened to the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You understand? Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to black folks so proud to be black? What happened to that? Stop putting white folks' hair in your head trying to be somebody you're not. You know what I'm saying? You want to be called, you don't like to be called darky, but you try so hard to fit in to the different job positions and the different, you know what I'm saying, companies where white folks are at. You know what I'm saying? You try so hard to dress like them. If you don't like to be called these derogatory names, then stop acting like you want to be like somebody else. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to this article, Sister Smith.
Okay. Radio host slams Atlanta restaurant over racial slur printed on receipt.
And we know why this radio host, it's a Raleigh, North Carolina radio host. We know why she's doing this. You know what I'm saying? This is a black woman. She should not be being on hosting a radio show. She should be somewhere baking cookies. That's what she should be doing. Not hosting a radio show, you know what I'm saying, running her mouth. If you're not doing anything to gather the people. But radio show, we already know why she's doing this. She's doing this for publicity for her radio show. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying? Oh, they being this against her. No. You have to understand who you are. Especially you blacks, you black women, you Latino women, you Haitian women, you Jamaican women, you know what I'm saying, you Dominican women. You got to understand who you are. And if you understand who you are, you don't really need to do too much to try to be somebody. All you have to do is be yourself. Go ahead.
Woody's Cheesesteak in Atlanta has responded to
there you
a
go.
customer.
Woody Cheesesteak. And Woody Cheesesteak, no, this is not an advertisement for your business. This is something we are talking about, this radio show host. You know what I'm saying? But Woody's Cheesesteak in Atlanta, Georgia, I would not go to Georgia to eat any type of cheesesteak, if you ask me. I wouldn't even go to Philly to eat a cheesesteak. I would just get Sister Smith to order the ingredients and make my own cheesesteak. I wouldn't go to these restaurants. No. Anyway, go ahead.
Responded to a customer viral video about a staffer using a racial slur. Instagram user Darlene McCoy Jackson explained in the clip that she visited the eatery last week and upon receiving her receipt, she noticed the word darky was written on it.
Now, how many people believe this crack of bull crap? You know what I'm saying? Even the black women, even black people know that them doing something like this is going to cause a conversation on social media. And you know what I'm saying? And it's going to cause them to get attention. You have to understand the definition of the names that you are called. You cannot stop your enemy from thinking these derogatory names toward you, because you got to understand that that's part of the curse. It's not the curse of Ham, because we know the curse of Ham. We know why Ham was cursed. Ham was cursed because Ham tried to get into Noah's drawers. Oh, well, he didn't try. You know what I'm saying? That's why Ham was cursed. But we had a curse put upon us because we want to do what we want to do. Go ahead.
When she brought attention to the offense wording, McCoy Jackson claimed the employee refused to apologize. When they took the order, they asked my name and I told them, Darlene, and they typed in darky. And I noticed it when I was paying for it because the name came up on the screen. McCoy Jackson said, Baller Alert Report. I said...
Ain't nobody writing no damn darky on her receipt. You know what I'm saying? I think this is something that she done printed up. She done had printed up. You know what I'm saying? Just so that she can get some clout. You know what I'm saying? But she don't know the half of why. Darky, come on, really? In 2023? Go ahead.
I said, wait a minute. My name is Darlene. He said, I heard you. I said, but you have darky. Could you change it? He said, no. I said, my name is Darlene, not Darky. And he said, don't worry about it. I came to a spot in Buckhead, excited about trying out a veggie cheesesteak at the suggestion of my dear friend.
What type
sister.
of cheesesteak is? What cheesesteak? A veggie cheesesteak.
A veggie cheesesteak.
Oh, that can't be good. How can you make meat into plants? You know what I'm saying? That can't be good. Go ahead.
When I placed my order and I told him my name, Darlene, he put Darky on the ticket. As I was paying, I noticed my name, Darky, and I asked him to change my name, please.
Yeah.
He said, no, don't worry about it.
We're going to stop right there. Yeah, Darlene, you're lying. You're lying. You are a liar. Ain't nobody put no damn Darky on your receipt. You know what I'm saying? Want some clout for your radio station. Well, you got the clout. You got the clout. You got exactly what you wanted. You wanted somebody talking about you, and you got somebody talking about you. Ain't nobody put no damn Darky on your receipt. Let me tell you, we're going to go into some scriptures. Precept on precept, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead, Sister Smith.
Okay, we're going into the book of Deuteronomy 28:37.
Deuteronomy 20. See, you blacks, you Latinos, you Haitians, you Jamaicans, you Dominicans, Trinidadians, you are the 12, part of the 12 tribes of Israel. You are Israelites. You're not African. You know what I'm saying? Whoever told you you're African, erase that. You're not African. The Africans don't even like you. You know what I'm saying? On those slave ships, on the transatlantic slave trade, not one African was on them ships. When the white man was going over there to Africa to round you up, they knew exactly who they was getting. You understand, black folks? They knew exactly who they was getting. And how do they know exactly who they was getting? Because the king tribes of the Africans is the one that pointed you out. There they go right there. There they go. Get them right there. You know what I'm saying? Just give me this. I'll give you all of these. Get them out of our land. They wanted us out of our, they wanted us out of their land the same way Pharaoh told us to get up out of his land. The same way when we was going through the wilderness and we were just passing through and we asked permission from these Africans to pass through their land and they would not allow us. We had to fight. We had to fight just to pass through their land. They would not allow us. We didn't bother them. We just passing through. And they didn't allow us. The Africans don't like you. Stop trying to think that you're African, people. But we're going into, you know what I'm saying? What book are we in?
We're in Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Chapter 28.
Chapter 28.
37.
Verse 37. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. Go ahead.
And thou shalt become an astonishment.
And thou shalt become an astonishment. You know what an astonishment is? We was not no African kings. No, we're not. We was not no African princes. We was not your Prince Akeems. No, we wasn't. We was not your pharaohs. We was nowhere near Africa. But we was Hebrew. We was Israelites and still are. We have just lost our identity for a time. You understand? We once ruled, but now we have become an astonishment. What is an astonishment? When the other nations see us, when they come into our communities and set up Arab bodegas in our communities, they know who exactly they are catering to. They know who exactly they are selling those Lucy's and those Garcia Vegas and those cigars to. They know exactly why they put them gas stations and them bodegas in our communities. They know exactly what products to put in their stores. They know exactly who and what products sell. That's why they got them in your communities. The Chinese people come in your community, they know exactly who they are serving cats and dogs to. They know exactly who they doing this to. When the East Indians put them Kennedy fried chickens, you know what I'm saying, in your community, they know exactly who they selling that Kennedy fried chicken or Crown fried chicken to. They know exactly who they selling it to. They're selling it to you because you was an astonishment. And they know that as long as you are in servitude and as long as you are in the condition that you're in, you are their number one customer. You blacks, you Haitians, you Jamaicans, you Puerto Ricans are the other nation's number one customers. If you stop buying their products and services today, they will be out of a job and out of business. You will see boarded up Kennedy fried chicken restaurants. You will see, boarded up Chinese restaurants. You will see boarded up gas stations and one-stops. You will see boarded up stores in your community if you stopped. But you have become an astonishment, and they know who you are. Go ahead.
A proverb and a byword.
A proverb and a byword. What is a proverb and a byword? What is a byword? Well, darky. That's a byword. Spick, wetback, geechee, Nigger. All these different names. You don't say porch monkey. You don't say lazy. You don't say all of these names. These are the names that you are going to be called. You can't stop them from calling you these names. These names they are going to call you because it identifies you as the Israelites. You see? So to all of you big black brothers and sisters out there who swear up and down that you're not Israelite, you fit the curses? You sure enough fit the curses. Because if you call darky, hey, it's in the Bible that is confirmation that curse is on you. If they calling you the N-word, it's in the Bible that's confirmation. That's what? That you fit the curses. You see? If you are the last one hired and the first one fired, guess what? That's confirmation that you fit these curses. You see? If you black women hair can't grow and you got to go to the Korean weave shops to get your weave, that is confirmation that you fit these curses. You see? See, no other nation on the planet Earth can fit these curses in the book of Deuteronomy but you blacks, you Haitians, you Jamaicans, you Dominicans, you 12 tribes of Israelites. Nobody else fit the curses but you. Johnny Cochran said if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Well, the Bible identifies that if you fit these curses, you got to admit that you are the children. And y'all should be called a proverb and a byword. Go ahead.
And a byword among all nations.
Among some nations.
They say all.
Among all nations. So all nations have these words in their mouth to call you. All nations. You know what I'm saying? You go to Sweden, you go to Spain, you go to Europe, you go to Ireland. No matter where you go on planet Earth, all nations got it in their mouth to call you these names. Go ahead.
Whether the Lord shall lead thee.
So wherever you shall go, wherever you are residing at, it is the Lord who led you that way. So wherever the Lord led you, whether you in Africa, whether you in Trinidad, wherever you at, is the Lord who led you there, and you are identified as these words. Go ahead.
We're going into the book of Isaiah. Just a minute.
Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button yet. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bells. Go ahead.
Chapter 28, verse 9 and 10.
Isaiah, that's Isaiah?
Yeah.
Isaiah 28, 9 and 10. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 9 and 10. Go ahead.
Whom shall he teach knowledge?
Whom shall he teach? So how are we to teach this Bible? Pastors, I'm talking to you. Teachers who want to teach this Bible, how are we to teach the Bible to people who don't understand why they are called these names by other people? You see? Let me say something. Hey, Darlene Jackson, if you was called Darky, if you understood, if you was taught the proper way, you would understand why you was called Darky. You know what I'm saying? If you are called any derogatory outside of your name, you got to understand why. And right here in Isaiah chapter 28, you said?
Yes, chapter 28, verse 9 and 10.
Chapter 28, verse 9 and 10. So who shall we teach? Go ahead.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
So who shall he make to understand this doctrine, this Bible? How do we make you understand this Bible? Do we preach like them Christian pastors preach? No. How should you understand? Go ahead.
Them that are
winged
from the milk.
Them that are weaned from the milk, that's them that do not understand, that need to understand. Them that are babes. When you first come into this truth and to understand this Bible, you are a baby and you got to eat the food like this. Go ahead.
Draw from the breast.
Go ahead.
Verse 10. For precept must be upon precept.
There you go. Precept upon precept. This is how you are to learn the order. This is how you are to learn why we are called these different N-words. You about to understand this whole lesson. You about to understand why the other nations call you darky, why the other nations call you N-word, why the other nations call you porch monkey, lazy, geeky, you know what I'm saying, no good. All these names that you are called, you're about to understand. Go ahead.
Precept upon precept.
Precept upon precept. This is how you are to understand this Bible. Go ahead.
Line upon line.
Line upon line. Go ahead.
Line upon line.
Line upon line.
Here's a little.
Here a little.
And there a little.
Here a little and there a little. You feed them here, a little bit here, a little bit there. A little bit here, a little bit there. You don't give them all at once because they are going to choke. You got to give them it so that they can properly digest it. Go ahead.
Okay, we're going into the book of Acts.
The book of Acts.
Chapter 13, verse 1.
Chapter 13, verse 1. The book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. Go ahead.
Now there were in the church.
Now there was in the church.
That was at Antioch.
That was at Antioch.
Certain prophets.
Certain prophets. And we know who the prophets are. The prophets are Negroes. The prophets are Israel. The only prophets, there is no such thing as African prophets. There is no such thing as the Caucasian. There is no such thing as a Caucasian being a prophet. There is no such thing as a Russian being a prophet. The only prophets come from out of Israel. You understand? So there were certain prophets and teachers in the church. Go ahead.
As Barnabas and Simeon.
As Barnabas and Simeon. Go ahead.
That was called Niger.
That was called nigger. Ain't that something? So Barnabas and Simeon and the prophets and that there was teaching. These was black folks. And they was called what? Niger. That's where you get Nigeria from. Because when we left Jerusalem, we cultivated a lot of areas in Africa. Is Africa our land? No. Jerusalem is our land. But we had to leave Jerusalem. We cultivated Jerusalem. We resided in Jerusalem. But we cultivated Africa. We resided in Africa. But Africa was not our land. Africa is not even named Africa. Africa is called the land of Ham. It is named after the Hamites, which are the Africans. That's why it's named the land of Ham. It's not called the land of Israel. It's called the land of Ham. So who belongs in the land of Ham? Hamites. Who belong in the land of Israel? Israelites. So forth and so forth. So, Nigeria, that's where black folks resided at. Now, do that mean you love Nigeria and you embrace every stinking African over there? No. No, not at all. Because they rounded a lot of us up and sailed us all across the globe. Selling us 45, 55, 65, 75 sold. And the Africans is the one that sold you. So I don't want to hear the Africans was enslaved. The white man went into Africa and did this to the Africans. That's what they get. You reap what you sow. You sold us. And the white man turned around and stabbed you in the back and enslaved you. That's what you get, Africans. That's what you get. You thought, never trust thine enemy. You thought you was hand in hand with them. You thought you was doing, you know what I'm saying, a favor by getting us up out your land, by selling us to them. That's what you get. We're not African. We are Hebrew. We are the children of the Most High. Go ahead.
Okay, we're still in the book of Acts. We're going to chapter 11. Verse 26.
We're still in the book of Acts. We're going to chapter 11, verse 26. The book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 26. Go ahead.
And when he had found him. He brought him into Antioch.
Here come Antioch again, and he brought him to Antioch. We already know there was Negroes in Antioch. We already know the prophets are black. We already know there was teachers in Antioch. We already know that there was black folks, black disciples preaching in Antioch. We already know this. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church.
So these black folks was assembled in Antioch for a whole year. These black prophets, these black teachers was assembled in Antioch for a whole year. Go ahead.
And taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
So we know that they're black. We know that they was teaching. We know that they was in Antioch for a whole year teaching in Antioch. Now it's saying that the disciples, whose disciples? Christ's disciples. So we know that Christ's disciples was black. Because we just found out that what? Niger means black. Means, you know what it means. So now it says now it says that the disciples, which was black men, which was followers of Christ, was first called Christians in Antioch. So who are the Christians? What does that mean? Who are the Christians? Black people. Black people. Black people are Christians. Why? Because we follow Christ. That's why. And it was first called Christians in Antioch. And why was they called Christians in Antioch? Because a lot of people do not want to hear this truth. So when they see us coming through teaching the truth about the Bible, what do? Oh, here come them Christians. Here come them Christ followers. Here they come. Close your door. You know they're going to try to say this and they're going to say that. Didn't nobody wanted to hear us. That's why we was called Christians. Didn't nobody wanted to hear us, but we preached anyway. Go ahead.
Okay, we're in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
Judah mourneth, and the gate thereof languish.
Who is Judah? Judah is the Negroes. Judah is the leader tribe. It says Judah, the Negro, mourneth. Mourning. They're in mourning. And it says the gates therein the language. What is the gates? The gates is the protection. Their protection languish. They have no protection. The black man do not have no protection to this day. So the black man does what? Being that the black man don't have no protection, the black man think that joining these different groups, the Nation of Islam and gang banging, and you know what I'm saying, and try to have a false sense of protection. It says, Judah mourneth, and the gates therein languish. Go ahead.
They are black unto the ground.
They are white unto the ground.
Black.
They are Korean unto the ground.
They're black.
They are Chinese unto the ground.
They're black.
They are Russian unto the ground.
They're black.
They are European unto the ground.
They're black.
It says they are black unto the ground. So right there telling you that you black folks, the Bible is for you black folks. The Bible is about you black folks. Negroes, majority, are Judah. And their gates therein languish. It means they have no protection. They have no protection because they are suffering the curses for breaking the commandments of the Most High God. You cannot get upset when somebody's calling you the N-word, because that is part of it. That identifies you to be the children of Israel. You cannot get upset that somebody's calling you darky, because that's confirmation that you fit the curses. And if you fit the curses,